We're about to walk through a one-story plan that opens up so well right here in the heart of Leander, Texas. You'll want to stick around for this walkthrough. Hey everyone, Raj Sahu here, realtor in Central Texas, back with another model home walkthrough. Today we're going through the pewter plan with Taylor Morrison Homes. We are in a community called Horizon Lake. That is the lake off to the side of this home, and at the end of this video I'll put up my drone, show you around this area, and talk a little bit about this fast-growing suburb that we're in called Leander, Texas. But first, I want to start off on this floor plan. This specific model home is over 2,600 square feet. It's a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bathroom, one-story plan, and as soon as we walk out into this main living area, we have the dining room set off to the left side. We have a kitchen island that looks out to the main living area. You have sliding glass doors on that back wall, and everything opens up, even with this square footage just in the mid-2000s. Now, there are lots of different structural upgrades that are here. Of course, lots of different design upgrades as well. We'll try to cover as many of them as possible. I know when I say the square footage is in the mid-2000s, it's not something that I post a lot of on my channel, but I think it's important to do in a community like this where location is playing a big factor. And again, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. I do want to start here in the kitchen. What do you think of these kitchen cabinets? This navy blue color I think is such a cool contrast, especially when the countertops are light and the backsplash is light. And in this case, they actually ran those same countertops up into the backsplash. So let me know what you think about that as well. I think two things that are very trendy right now. I actually have somebody doing that countertop backsplash, and then I also have somebody who's doing a two-tone cabinets where all the exterior cabinets are light, but the island is this stark navy blue color. Of course, we have the single basin sink, which is very popular these days. And then we have a built-in microwave and oven off to the side, and then a pantry right here in the heart of the kitchen. And I would say for this square footage, fairly typical size for a pantry. And, you know, keep in mind, this is a one-story plan, so I'm going to go through some different structural upgrades, but it's difficult to add a lot of square footage onto a one-story plan because, of course, you need to keep expanding the footprint of the home, whereas on a two-story, you can add things on the second story, and that doesn't really change the concrete slab or cut into your backyard. But again, I'll get into that in a second. Moving on, this is going to be the dining room area right off of the kitchen. And I've walked this plan before with buyers, and people say, well, do you feel like this is a little bit tight because this dining table kind of cuts into the kitchen a little bit? And my answer is no. This is a 10-seater table, so this is where design can make things look small. Sometimes it can make it look larger, and it really depends on the person. Sometimes people say, wow, this has a 10-seater table. This dining room is so big. And then other people might say, well, I don't really value that size of a table. It feels like it's cutting into my kitchen. So don't let design change how you feel about a specific plan, because when you build these plans, obviously you can design them however you want and put whatever furniture you want in here. What I do like about this main living area are going to be the stackable sliding glass doors. I'm going to open up these stackable sliding glass doors in a second, and you're going to see this room changes because everything feels very open. In fact, if you saw this plan without any furniture in it, a lot of people ask, well, how can you get some couches in here? And you'll see in that living room area, there's lots of seating, even for this square footage being in the mid-2000s. And then this is a massive patio area. Picnic bench on one side, couches on the other. Usually I would see like a grill out here, maybe like an outdoor kitchen, but obviously these are things that can be done, you know, aftermarket. And I say usually I would see that on a resale home where somebody's actually living in the home. This being a model home open to the public, they don't want to have a gas grill out here. It's too much of a liability with, you know, kids running around and everybody running around these model homes, especially on the weekends. And then as we get out to the backyard here, there would normally be fencing here between this home and the next one, but they're both model homes, so nobody's living in these homes. That's why they keep them open. And then, like I said earlier in the video, we are in a community called Horizon Lake. This community is located right off of the highway 183A. If you look at a map, and you look at the city of Austin, 183 snakes through the city. It goes by the Domain, goes right to the airport, and it's a great highway to be right off of because you can access a lot of the city, and a lot of the growth is off of this highway. In fact, if you're in Austin in 2023, you'll actually see this highway is being expanded even beyond Route 29 as we speak, and that's why there's so much growth in this Leander, Liberty Hill, West Georgetown, Cedar Park, Round Rock corridor. All these suburbs are growing rapidly, with most of the growth being in that Leander, South Liberty Hill, West Georgetown area. More on that at the end of the video, where again I'm going to take my drone up and you'll get a really good feel of what's going on here in Leander. Getting back to the plan, this is going to be the primary bedroom. I like the windows on the back wall and the space that's here that you could even fit a chase on this side. Now, a lot of people ask, why do you need furniture in here? Are you going to be sitting in your bedroom? I actually had a client that said they had to have this space because they read at night, and if they read in their bed, they just fall asleep. And that's when I said, I gotta get their perspective, take a seat on this chase. And I have to say, I like it. I like the idea of being in a bedroom where sometimes you just need a little bit of privacy, especially if you're in a one-story plan. And if you need an area to read or do something other than fall asleep in your bed, then that's a great place for it. And then here we are in the primary bathroom. I love the upgrades that they chose here. As we always say with a lot of these model home upgrades, there are a ton of design upgrades like this tile work on the floor. The entire wall on the left side is just tile. These are all things that are done in model homes, which you could possibly do as long as they allow for that much tile on the walls. But if they do, it's going to cost you quite a bit. So don't think that your average upgrades, or if you look at an inventory home they have for sale that's already built, that it's going to look like this. Generally speaking, model home upgrades are well beyond what your average homeowner will do in a community. But again, as we always say, these are things that can be possible with the builder, and they're just showcasing what they're capable of doing. And then we have a primary closet just on the left side. By the way, before we get to that closet, the tub, I'm finding a lot of people, to try to get more room in their primary bathroom, they do a freestanding tub. So a lot of builders are offering that. I think years ago you started seeing freestanding tubs in magazines, and people liked how elegant it looked and how it made the space feel bigger, because these drop-in tubs with all the tile around it can sometimes cut into that space. And now I'm finding a lot of people are doing that freestanding tub. Not that they're going to use it, but just because it looks aesthetically pleasing. Moving on, this is going to be the primary closet. And while we're in here, we're going to go back out. I'm going to show you a bedroom and a workout room that's in this home, and a flex room, study. There's still a lot to cover here. While we cover these things, what I wanted to mention is in this community called Horizon Lake, there was a lot of bidding, and there was bidding because people were talking about these future projects that I will also mention later on in the video, called Leander Springs, which is a planned mixed-use development space, Leander Northline, which is kind of like a mini Domain-like project, again, mixed-use development space, which we'll talk about later. People were paying quite the premium to be here, but I think what was really happening is this is a small pocket community, just a few hundred homes, and so there wasn't a whole lot of inventory, especially when inventory was very tight, and that's where the bidding escalated fast. The good news is now there's not much in terms of bidding, and you can get into these areas where, a few years from now, I think it's going to be very difficult to get into an area like the heart of Leander, just because land has become so expensive, especially with these billion-dollar developments that are coming. It's just going to get more and more difficult to buy new construction in these areas because, of course, new construction, we need land for this. And that's where a lot of that development now is going to Liberty Hill, where there's a lot more land than Leander. More on that later. On this side of the home, I like the privacy here, where we have a couple of bedrooms, and in between those bedrooms is a full bathroom. So we did already see a bedroom that faces out to the back of the home. This, of course, is going to be a full bathroom. That's why they have a couple sinks here. And then in this bedroom, they actually turned it into a workout room. Now, this model home was built through the pandemic, so I'm not surprised they figured out how to make this into a workout room, because so many people were working out from home, and I think still people do that. It's sometimes hard to get to the gym. especially when you have kids, right? And I'm sure a lot of parents would agree with me on that one. But I like what they did here because this isn't a huge bedroom by any means, but if you just put mirrors on one wall, TV up there, and then you put a weight bench, you have a yoga mat that you could, move this weight bench to the side, do yoga. You can do so much, and the mirrors, I think, on that one wall just makes the space feel so much bigger. And for a lot of people, they tell me, hey, I don't need a big space for my workout room. I just need a little bit of room for a treadmill or a Peloton, or name any machine that people work out on, and you can just put in here. And I think it's so useful to have that space. I think a lot of buyers are looking to have that space in their home, and that's why I'm glad they even try to fit that in even on a home like this, which is in the mid 2000s for square footage. And while we walk over to the powder bathroom, and then you're going to see the laundry and a flex area here in a second, which I'll talk about. I do want to mention, I don't mean to say that mid 2000s is small by any means. So if you're in that type of home, that's obviously, don't take offense to that. It's just when we look at new construction, a lot of builders, if they're building something around 1500 square feet, to be frank, that is kind of battling with a lot of the apartment complexes that have come up, where you can get a 3-bedroom for 1400 square feet. So when they build these homes, generally speaking, they try to get more space. That's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to get people away from those apartment complexes, buy these starter homes. And that's why we're in this type of home, is to get more square footage away from that. There's going to be that flex room area, and this is the best part about building from scratch, is this would normally be a 3-car tandem garage space, but they have an option currently to change that 3rd-car tandem into a flex area. So on a 1-story plan, if you wanted more like a game room feel, or like a hangout area or media room, maybe with some windows, or you could black these out, you have an area to do that. You have an area to just kind of put a TV up on the wall and make this a hangout space. I've even had people use their tandem garage space and make it into a workout room. I actually have a homeowner under contract right now doing that on another plan. So lots of different things that you can do here, or you can just keep that 3rd-car garage space, because that tandem space, a lot of times people need storage for bikes, and if you have kids, all their outdoor toys and their bikes, and so it's nice to have that garage space. But this is why, again, I like building from scratch. You have the option to choose these things when you build with a builder like Taylor Morrison. Moving on, this is going to be the study. As you can tell, I love the ceiling height in here and the windows that are off to the side. This is where there are some structural upgrades. This would normally be a flex area. Flex area just means that there's an opening. There's no doorway here. Study usually just encloses it, puts double doors on here. One thing to note, these windows are great. They can change with elevation. So elevation is the exterior aesthetic of your home. That can change windows. It can change your exterior material from hardy board to stucco to stone or brick, or any of those materials, or a combination of those materials as well. And then on this side, we have a bedroom with an in-suite full bathroom. Now, this would normally be a study and a half bathroom, but there is an upgrade to change this to exactly what you're seeing here, a bedroom with an in-suite full bathroom. It adds that half bath that we saw previously, or what we call a powder bathroom. That would usually be storage. If you're getting mixed up and it's getting too complicated, this is where you looking at a 2D floor plan and working with a realtor who's been through this with so many different builders is very useful, because I find, especially in this market where I mentioned previously, there's a lot more inventory than we had before. There's no bidding, but you still have builder agents who are very busy. The only way you get in touch with them is you make an appointment, and sometimes that appointment takes weeks and weeks to get in here with the builder agent. Now, I would never discourage you to talk with the builder agent, because we should always do that. But what I would highly recommend doing is to help navigate through all these different builders is reach out to a realtor such as myself. And while we go outside, I'm going to show you around Leander, and I'm going to put my drone up in the air in a second. What I will tell you is, if you are interested in new construction or just new homes in general, reach out to me. I've worked with 17 builders just in the last 14 months, and I represent buyers to go to these different builders, so you know the good, the bad, and the ugly when you're looking at all these various options with so many different builders out there. So my info is in the description of this video. I'd be happy to help. And before I let you go, let me show you Horizon Lake. And before I actually do that, take a look at this sign. Is this funny? That dirt looks so good. I like that. I'd like to see one of my buyers with that sign right in their front yard as they're building their home. That's always a fun picture. But take a look at this. This is going to be that backyard patio that we saw previously, and then off the side of the home that I was walking out to, but then I realized that I have a drone that can show you this much better. Take a look at Horizon Lake. Now, just east of Horizon Lake, there is a plan for a big mixed-use development space called Leander Springs, which you're seeing here on your screen. Now, Leander Springs is not under construction at the time this video is getting posted, but the plan is to have a mixed-use development project on approximately 78 acres. Mixed-use development meaning some offices, some apartment complexes, some retail possibly, as well as this huge lagoon, which is going to be a lot of fun. What is under construction right now is the Leander Northline project, which is also on your screen. It's hard for me to sum up that project. I actually just spoke to one of the employees of the development company of that space. That is a great project. Look these up on their websites, leandernorthline.com, leandersprings.com, and then take a look at this community, Horizon Lake, where a home that we just toured, which you're seeing right below us, is next to these big projects. As always, hope this helps.